Skill Development Institute. And in order to host these, we have certain kinds of requirements, and just I am briefly mentioning these things. So in order to host those labs, we need of the order of 13,000 SFT, and preferably 7,000 SFT are required in the ground floor. And this is, you saw that in the hierarchy of the skill development centers, we are talking about at the lowest level skill development centers, where we can carry out the training to the students of the college and also from outside. So there we are looking at 2 to 3 labs and a few classrooms. They require about 10,000 SFT, and we, with such expensive investment, we would like to provide the best possible environment wherein we can bring these trainees and keep them in a controlled environment. So we need to have residential facilities for up to 200 students, and they should all, we are talking about mostly people who could be brought from outside, and they should be in a position to make use of these facilities. And all this machinery, it requires extensive power, and we need to have this 3-phase power supply with appropriate UPN generator backup. We have some specs in terms of the civil work and site preparation, and likewise facilities for furniture, air conditioning, and the classroom facilities like smart boards, projectors, public address system, and LAN with internet connectivity and so on. So these are the requirements that are to be taken care of, and they are all mentioned in the document and in the expression of interest you will be having. So these respective labs, they have that kind of space requirement, and that is totaling to about 23,000 SFT. And each of these colleges that are willing to come forward to host these, they should provide us some commitment. The college should be in a position to commit itself for a longer period, 10 years, to host these things, because this is made possible by a partnership with Siemens, Government of India through Skill Development Corporation, and also the college is going to be providing the space. So for a couple of years, we are talking about the support from Siemens in terms of the faculty also, and beyond that we will be having 1 year of hand-holding support, and post that at an observatory level we will also be having for 1 more year. During that time we should be able to train and equip the faculty members so that they should be ready to take charge of these facilities and carry out the training and development in the college. We need to have some commitment in terms of faculty members, a couple of faculty members from each of those departments to be assigned so that they can learn these facilities, and then by the 3rd year they should be in a position to take it over and run that. And we are looking at nearly 50% of the capacity to be used by the students of the college, and the balance to be used by people who are going to be brought from outside. So they could be students from other colleges, or they could be people who are unemployed who are going to be given suitable training. And we have an online expression of interest capturing all these in the form of an online form, and a hard copy of that is I think is also available over there. You can take a look into that. And what we are requesting is we are requesting you, now that you have an understanding of the total package. So here we are talking about making such facilities available in the college environments. The video that was shown is one of the first examples that was set up in Gujarat, and the Prime Minister was the Chief Minister, and that became operational only recently. And already things are happening, and with a lot of rating going up and up every day, and many people from IITs and others also, they are kind of gravitating towards that kind of center. So almost a similar thing can be expected to happen with those colleges that are going to be coming forward, and that will be eventually selected to host these. And we are looking at that as an opportunity wherein we should be able to provide a significant amount of workforce so that the industry is ready. And we are talking about a combined capacity of training something like 230,000 a year out of these 6 clusters, each cluster having 1 center of excellence and 5 technical skill development institutes. And we request all the interested colleges to go and fill up that expression of interest. An account will be given to you using your MSET code. You should be able to make use of that and fill in the details and submit a certified copy of that. And following that, we will be in a position to shortlist those things after physical verification of those. And then the ground reality, we have to take care of that in planning these kinds of facilities. The place provided in the short term may not be uniform from one place to another. So maybe some other design has to be carried out appropriately based on the availability of the space over there. But the longer term perspective is one of having a proper architectural view so that we should be able to have a standardized look and design for these so that we should be able to move into those kinds of facilities. In terms of evaluation of this, as is understood, every engineering college and all the corresponding universities and a few polytechnics, they have been invited, and we are expecting your participation in this to this expression of interest. And of course, evaluation is going to be happening. So roughly, we are talking about giving importance to the tune of about a third of the weightage to the general facilities and the background of the college, and a third specifically to meet the requirements of these centers of excellence and skill development institute, and another third in terms of the commitment and involvement that you are showing over a period of time and in carrying out various skill developmental activities. So during the past 6 months, a number of programs have been conducted, and we have also circulated 1-year program, the next year program that can be offered to the final year engineering students. And we are also going to be taking that kind of involvement into consideration. So with the help of all these things, we should be in a position to finalize the list of those colleges and go for the placement of these facilities. And we are expecting a minimum of a 2-month time period to have these facilities up and running, and that too when this is going to be done on a priority basis, and for the first and the initial installation in this capital region. So these are the few remarks that I have, and probably we can open the floor for discussion, and maybe there are lots of questions that we can pose, and let's see what we can do in addressing those. Any questions?
What I think in this area requires medical equipment services is one of the line which is not mentioned in this. Printing technology, equipment, automation, services are very much required in this area where so many machines were held up because of non-availability of the skilled persons. These may be considered into this coming skill center. Thank you.
Would you like to comment?
Sir, would it be apt to ask what would be the cost of this project and in which model does it work? Would it be partnered with the government, or is the project to be completely taken up by the institute itself?
No, I don't think, frankly, there is a single institute that can afford even a TSDI. I'm sorry, it's not that I want to be rude over there, but the cost involved is so huge. So that's why this is being promoted in a PPP model, where there is contribution from multiple sides. Siemens and their partners, they are coming up and they are going to be investing a significant portion. And government is, in spite of the difficult situation we are in, government is going in a big way to support. So about 10% of the cost is going to be borne by the government, and that is going to be operated through the Skill Development Corporation. So whatever we are going to be getting through this, and that is going to be owned by the Skill Development Corporation, even if that is going to be placed in the colleges. And we are talking about the colleges and universities where we are going to be placing. They will be providing the physical infrastructure, and they will be contributing to the regular power supply and amenities, plus involving their faculty members in the overall program over here. So that is, in any case, you are having those things. So we are, to that extent, that is minimized. But otherwise, we already have a few people over here, and Mr. Seshagirav is here, who has taken a pioneering step to go ahead with on a smaller scale with some of those facilities on his own. It's a fairly expensive proportion on its own. But when you are talking about what we have, that's an order of magnitude bigger, and that's where we are talking about in a participatory mode, various entities contributing in different ways.
I have a small question, Rahul. Actually, you are suggesting this model to be trained along with regular curriculum of 4 years, or after the completion of the BTech, or how long you are going to have a student exposure for this Center for Excellence? And also, what is the success stories actually which you are telling about? Only one Kenya institute actually you are mentioning, that is only one batch or the second batch has gone out. And how the students are actually been getting opportunities once they complete this, you never mentioned in your talk. So that is very important, one has to be given to everyone.
The whole question of running it is basically that's what I said, we'll have to sit down with you and see how much of it can be run as a part of your course curriculum, how much of it needs to be run as credits over and above that. So if you look at the colleges in Gujarat, some portions of it is, so some portions of, when we sit down with the colleges and we make it a part of the course curriculum, so we have to see which of the existing courses is already being taught as the course curriculum, which needs to be substantiated and made up to track with the industry. The courses which don't come under the curriculum will have to be run as credit systems. So if you take any one, it's basically we're asking only 1 hour per day from the student to take care of that.
Do you think that 1 hour per day, if you are going to do this kind of exposure, going to make any real change in the?
So he's not doing it only for a month or 2 months. He's going to be doing it starting from the second year onwards till he comes to his final year. So he's going to be doing it over a period of 2 years. Doesn't help, sir.
Instead of going for 1 hour training in an institution, why don't you plan for a center which has been established as 3 months training, 6 months business training after they complete BTech course? That would be an ideal task.
We can do that when it comes to the vocational trainings like machining for turning, millers and all that, it's possible. But when you're going to talk about technologies which is going to run across and which is going to have basic, intermediate and advanced 3 phases to it, it needs to be phased out. He needs to first learn the basics before he moves on.
The story of yours in Siemens centers, it's only with the Kenya or any other one?
Kenya was, like I told you, was an industry model. If you go back to the Gujarat model and if you look at how it's working, it's into the second year now. So the students have actually moved ahead. So the industry interface which we have created in Gujarat, the industries which have come are actually looking forward for these students to move and come ahead, because they want to take them either as interns or to hire them at a later stage into their organization. That the industry interface is very, very important. That's what he's saying. So once you get the industry interface and they see that the kind of trainings which are happening, they would be picked up at interns at the right point in time.
Okay, so far there was no batch came out.
From engineering, we have what we used to do in the erstwhile, where we used to not have such big center of excellences, but we would have labs for CAD/CAM, PLM or automation. They are successfully deployed across the country.
There was no guarantee from you once the colleges are coming forward.
There is no job guarantee, sir. There is no job guarantee.
There is no job
There is no job guarantee.
There was no guarantee even for training also.
We are training. The whole process is training, sir. The whole process is training.
Training also, there was only first year only. They are running only first year.
Yeah, let me
Let me clarify
let me
this.
comment.
We are drawing a distinction between training and education. It's a blended model where we are also going on education, we are also going for a trade. And the question is about creating a culture. The question is about creating a culture. Those humans have experimented and done it here, that's one thing. Our own skill development centers in the polytechnics we have done. We know what it has happened. Similarly, we have seen also Bosch what has done. Therefore, it's a question of what kind of thing. That way it was very clear in my explain. So they sit with you, whether 1 hour, 1.5 hours, before 9, after 5, or during the whole curriculum, second, third, fourth years. All these things will be thought over, discussed, and you are a partner in this. Somebody is not coming and doing it. That is the reason why the whole philosophy is introducing a culture in the colleges, in the polytechnics, in the ITIs. You should look at that. It's not just giving 2 months training, 3 months training, sending away. No, it's not. It should be looked in a holistic way.
Let me make a couple of remarks over here. It is highly flexible, and where possible, our existing courses in our curricula, they could be supplemented by those 1 or 2 hours of exposure to specific labs with specific experimentation. So that itself is going to add value to the ongoing curriculum. We don't have to talk about changes to that. The other thing is they can be overhauled, they can be dramatically altered. If you followed the remarks that Mr. Bhaskar was making, it is going to be cutting down the amount of time that you are going to be spending to impart the same knowledge by an order of magnitude. So you are making things much better, and as a result, it is going to be asking for a re-examination of our curriculum and the way we are delivering. It is going to have an overhauling effect. This is as far as the students who are in the college are concerned. And this is not excluding the people who are going to be trained on a short-term basis, whether that is going to be for a couple of weeks or 3 months. We are not even talking about a lengthy period over there, because there is not much need for that. So with the same kind of digitized learning material and with a suitable learning methodology and a residential support, I think you should be able to handle many of them. Already there are commercial models that are available wherein people are taking 8-day training courses, 14-day training courses, which are good enough to get them suitable kind of employment. But I don't think we are expecting anybody to come and give that kind of guarantee. Yeah, you do this, you are going to be having this kind of job here. But let me talk from a different perspective. Just last week, I think we were inaugurating something in Tirupati, Dr. Lakshmana and myself. And just one of the many plants is this Isuzu Motors. They require 3,000 people, and that plant is getting ready. And they will be having a turnover of 30 billion rupees and producing about 120,000 vehicles each year. And that is one of the many plants that is available in one of the many economic zones, namely CCT. And simultaneously, we are talking about also the Hero plant, where they need directly about 5,000 people. And in the next 12 to 18 months, we are talking about almost 3 times more workforce requirement. And the kind of interest that is evinced on the part of many companies to invest in Andhra Pradesh now, the situation is totally different. And we have, as we are talking about, just a fortnight ago, an electronics manufacturing company, it has come about and it was asking about the supply of about 20,000 people. They wanted 5,000 people, and looking across the length and breadth of South India, if not the whole India, you will not be finding that many people with that kind of skill set. So they are looking for the availability of that kind of skilled manpower, and it is up to us whether we are in a position to get up and start producing these kinds of people. So the opportunities are there, but I don't think we can also expect some kind of job guarantee or things like that over there. Jobs are available provided people are having the right kinds of skills.
Sir,
Please.
thanks for this expose made by the APSSDC and also Siemens, particularly to us who have been always busy with the theoretical knowledge being given by us to the students. My question would be, once an institution expresses its gratitude and also its willingness, how much time will it take for the center to be set up in an institution?
What do you like?
Typically, it's 3 to 3 months. From the day you hand over the site to us, we can do it in less than 3 months. This, we have to work with you because there are some specific requirements and other things. So we have to constantly work, and I have not seen more than 3 months of work.
Sir, what are the commitments on the part of the student, especially the time that you take? Is there any other commitments that we hope to have from the students?
For establishment of labs, we expecting some kind of specific civil structures.
Only the 7,000 for the ground floor is only one specific thing, because we have some of the heavy machineries. So we have to see the vibrations and other thing. It should not affect other labs which you have this thing. That's why we want 7,000 on the ground floor, because
Yes,
7,000 square feet of space.
The structure needs to be built. It has to be partitioned into labs for supplies.
Yeah. We will advise you. We will advise you when we see the raw space and other thing. We will tell you if the existing room structure which is there will fit 100%, or if there is any modifications which has to be done. So whatever is there existing, we'll see and we'll come back. I can't really assume that if you have a wall, if you don't have a wall, because if it is
But most of the existing infrastructure would be used, no doubt.
yeah, some machines, like I may have to remove the wall to take the machines inside and again replaster it, see the direction of it. So those things has to be done.
Yeah, but I think, yes, madam. So let me comment about that. And it varied based on the Gujarat experience that they had, based on the readiness on the part of the hosting institute, and based on what is available. If we have to retrofit everything over there, sometimes it might have taken a bit more, because we have to package some of those things.
Yeah.
Most of the labs, they can be accommodated in terms of the available space. When the total space requirement is given, but if that is not available in those units, probably we have to do some tweaking over there. But we are looking at a two-phase approach. In the first phase, we would like to go ahead and have them deployed. Several of those things, most of the labs, you should be able to move them to a different place. There are a few labs where it is difficult to move them once you install them. So we would like to go ahead quickly install these things and start carrying out this training program, while we are going to be coming up with a proper design, and that can be a new building altogether, and that is going to be taking care of all the requirements. And once that is built, it is just a question of moving that in there. So it is also important for us in terms of a longer term brand building, because it is not expected to be just these labs and this alone. We have plans to expand that. We have plans to bring in other things also into that, so that it can stand out as a center of excellence for many other things also. So for that, the longer term building and those design specs can be given. So, but in the short term, whatever is available, that is going to be looked into, and a specific solution in terms of the deployment will be given based on what is available. But the space requirement remains. So yeah,
Sir, on your this thing, from Siemens side as a partner of PP, so we don't have any special requirements. So the governance head is you can.
The same project can be taken up for 10+3, that's the way
that which he has been told whether they were taken up in behind the next step with the model for it. So the testing can extend to that level.
Yeah, let me answer that maybe. In fact, we are just talking about these engineering colleges and universities. But as we go along, we are also thinking in terms of taking it to that level. And even taking it to earlier level, like 8th standard onwards, because the next focus is going to be in terms of vocationalization of education. We even have to take it to the school level. Already commissioner is here, and we have quite a bit in terms of the polytechnics, where they are skill development centers. And even earlier when Dr. Lakshmana introduced those, in polytechnics, some of those have already been operationalized. Even Siemens software is already in place, some limited type of thing, and other training programs are also there. Technically it is possible, and we are also considering taking it to that level. So we have to train large numbers of people, not the 70,000 engineers we are talking about. This is this can be the beginning. And the capacity, to give you an idea, what we are talking about through these 6 clusters, we are talking about training something like 230,000 people in a year. So not all of these are going to be only for engineers. Maybe half of that can be for engineers. The other half can be for unemployed youth, undergraduate students in specialized areas, definitely, and even polytechnic students also. So regarding your question about the requirement on the part of the student, we need to find ways to motivate the students. But on the other hand, the moment they have access to such kinds of facilities, the interest level is totally different. You cannot imagine how a person who is sleeping in the class will turn around completely and start taking an active role when he has to actually do the work. So such opportunities where learning is going to be in an experiential way, and even a bigger challenge when they are asked to come up with something. So you see a different energy level altogether, and so that's going to throw open many challenges. So you give a problem, challenging problem, let them come up with a product and let them solve. And a simple idea, it's not exactly using these facilities, but in just a matter of 15 days, 4 months back in January, just before Chief Minister went to Davos, he wanted us to start a program so that he can send a message to the world. So in a few days, we had to hastily put together something in terms of app development. It's a toy program. We knew that in 15 days we cannot create wonders, but the ideas that were expressed even in those 15 days, they are phenomenal. Some 650 students, they started expressing their own ideas in terms of a potential mobile app. So I have no doubt about the ability on the part of the students to come up with new products, new ideas, and this goes in line with the innovation policy of the state government, where we are encouraging students while they are in the college to be able to think about these new ideas and even take up them as startup ideas.
You can throw some light on that.
Sir, I have.
Yeah.
Hello. Sir, good afternoon. I have a question for Siemens. Sir, you have mentioned 12 labs, isn't it? All 12 are having different areas like automotive, lift installation, robotics, mechatronics, process control, electrical and all. See, all these labs provide skills for varied areas, isn't it? So instead of having all 12 labs in a single college, can we have optional labs, like 2 or 3 labs in college, just to have the kind of the initial feedback, and we go about with the 12 labs. So if that is better, if that is possible, then we'd like to know the clarification.
So sorry to interrupt, but let me take up that question again. I don't think we would like to encourage that, to fragment it to that extent. There is a great deal of thought that has gone into in composing these. So we are not averse to the idea of taking students of some of those colleges. They can go for a week or a fortnight. They can go and get that experience in those colleges where they are going to be deployed. But if you are going to be dividing them, so it is at the end of the day, it's going to be another ornamental piece that we are going to be maintaining. So each of these places, we are talking about positioning about a dozen people, and to a tune of maybe 15 also in the case of Center of Excellence. So that many experts, they are going to be positioned over there so that they can guide these students. And doing that with 2 labs or 3 labs, maybe with a departmental specific focus, that might not achieve the desired goal of integrating them, bringing them together in one place, and allowing people to have that varied experience. So, and again, we are talking about establishing some 36 of them. So please, we request you and your management to come forward and with an attractive proposal, and maybe that can be in your center.
Sir, on your question, sir, like you wanted me to explain the VTU, Vijayawada Technical University. So, sir, way back in 2004 and 5, when Professor Balveer Reddy was in this thing, so we had a huge amount of debate. Like he's a person who actually wants you to think, and he said that what you're doing for one college here and there, you have to set an example and other things. So we pursued a lot this thing, because this has not come from the CSR. Actually, it is a global foundation. There's a Siemens Foundation. So even this project is under the foundation aegis. So the foundation for overall global this thing, so we went, we fought, and I think he was also very instrumental. So we got a good amount of funding. So the land was given by the institute, and we have done that entire thing. I think, if I remember correctly, NI Mysore was this thing. So there was a hosting institution, the university was there. So sir, if you see this model, this has not come out of blue, sir. This has actually taken various shapes and other thing and changes. From 2005 and 6, what has happened? It has been.
Angel.
Yeah. Now it is like maybe next time when we meet, it may be 20.
What you're seeing at the current VTU was set up some time back. That was predominantly on the CAD/CAM, CAE, PLM side of it. Now they're coming up with a skill development center which is under construction. And they've already spoken to us, and they have taken dimensions from us. They've already visited our centers, taken photographs. The architects have come and visited us. So the same labs, another year or year and a half down the line, will be at VTU, but once the skill development center is up. So that's already in the plans with them.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this opportunity to thank the dignitaries on the dais who were here with us, Dr. V.S.S. Kumar, Dr. K.R. Sambashimba Rao, Professor K.V. Rao, Dr. Subbarao Ghanta, Madam Uday Lakshmi, and Dr. Lakshmi Narayana. Thank you so much. Lunch is served. You have more questions, you can definitely ask them over lunch. Please.